Welcome to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft and I mock it, give you my views, thoughts, and opinions. Got a great one for you today. Y'all ever wonder what I'm listening to in my headphones when I do these videos? But I got a great one for you today. Let's go ahead, get into it. We're going to the 33rd team. It's Ian Valentino. He's got a mock draft, so let's go ahead, get into this sucker. As for this mock draft, we'll be using the most update order based on records after Monday Night Football. Nice. Okay, New England Patriots take Tetero McMillan. Now, some of y'all were hot. Some of y'all were hot at me when I used the Patriots pick to take Travis Hunter, just because I think he might be the best all-around prospect in this class. And I get it. Y'all want to tackle desperately. And I think that's justified. I don't think that's a bad pick either. I was like, you know what? Let's throw a curveball in here. Let's say the Patriots do have the first overall pick and they just want to take the best prospect in the draft. Tetero McMillan, that's like firmly saying, oh, no. We're taking a wide receiver. Tackle be darned. So let's take a look at this. The New England Patriots have a massive need for playmaker, but picking number one in this class puts them in an uncomfortable position. The receivers available are better than the tackles on the board. So a slight reach for a good starting tackle over a potential all-pro receiver doesn't make sense. Interesting. I get it. Tetero McMillan. He brings rare size, very smooth athlete. Not a lot of teams have a receiver like this on their roster, and they would love a receiver like this on their roster. So, again, I'm not against it. I think Patriots, you're going wide receiver, you're going tackle. I think those are the two options that make the most sense. So, let's keep it rolling. Cincinnati Bengals go with James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee, edge. Obviously, they want to go defensive line. Makes the most sense in the world to go defensive line. Is there an edge player worth a top 5 pick right now? I'm just going to say it's a very wide open race for who edge 1 is, and you could argue if edge 1 may be worth a top 5 pick. We shall see, but I mean, I'm not going to argue the position. I think defensive line in general could use a ton of work for the Bengals. At pick 3, Jacksonville Jaguars. They go with Kelvin Banks, tackle out of Texas. Not good enough for 1, but he's good enough for 3, I guess. The best pure pass blocker in this class is Kelvin Banks, with Cam Robinson and Anton Harrison struggling to prove their value. To be fair, the offensive line's kind of clapped the last couple of weeks. They've kind of clap. They've been doing well. But you do have Cam Robinson and Walker Little as free agents. Anton Harrison, I ain't too worried about. He's looked good the last couple of weeks. Hopefully that's something that he can sustain. Didn't start the year so hot, but now he's looking pretty solid. So, yeah, you're probably looking for that left tackle. But, yeah, I love Banks. Again, Banks, Will Campbell. Up to you. Up to you who you like. Who'd you rather? Who do you think won't play guard in the NFL? It's kind of where we're at with the tackle class right now. The Cleveland Browns at pick 4 take Shedeur Sanders out of Colorado. And you know what? I get it. A lot of people are like, oh, there ain't no way the Browns don't take a quarterback. And I'm like, it really depends how in love with or not in love with the NFL is with this quarterback class. Like we've seen, I've seen people like, oh, quarterbacks always go high. Come on, you know this. They did in 2022. That was all of like 3 drafts ago. Like, listen, the NFL, if they don't like the class, they're not going to force the position up the board. That's just the case. Now, that's not to say I don't. That's not to say I dislike the class, because I do think there are some first rounders in this class. Shedeur being one of them. Do I like Shedeur at 4? Not really, but I get it if, given what the Browns are currently at. Listen, you screwed up with Deshaun Watson. You screwed up. I can hear it in my headphones already.
Mr. Unlimited.
No, he ain't Mr. Unlimited. He's very limited, and the offense is limited. So maybe you want to, instead of shooting for a higher upside prospect, you're like, let's take the high floor guy. Someone that could just maybe like come in, not even necessarily initially, though you could make an argument that Shedeur might be the most pro-ready prospect. But that could come in and just bring some stability to the offense, because golly, we suck. So I get it from that standpoint. Pick 4, it feels rich to me, but I get it. Quarterback, they get pushed up the board. I mean, if this was last year's class, I'm like, push those guys up the board. I love all of them. This, not so much. But I can see Shedeur for teams that are more so looking for that high floor, looking for some stability at the position. I can definitely see Shedeur. And that's not to say he can't be like a top 10, even a top 5 quarterback. Like, again, Joe Burrow, not the most toolsy guy. The dude can sling it. It's just compared to like Milroe and Ward and Aller and even Quinn Ewers, compared to their like arm strength and their physical tools, they just got a bit more. Just saying. Los Angeles Rams take Will Johnson, corner out of Michigan. This is kind of a shoo-in. I think Trey White was like a healthy scratch last game. They need corner help. He's the best corner in the draft. Arguably, again, depends whatever you consider Travis Hunter, who is currently still on the board, by the way. Yes, he is. Oh, that's very fascinating. But yeah, I do like me Will Johnson. He already has 2 pick sixes this year. I don't know what the injury is coming back from is. What is it? The college football, sometimes they can be so just so quiet about their injuries and not let you know. It's a shoulder injury. Okay, shoulder injury. Okay, well, hopefully he's doing well. At pick 6, Carolina Panthers take Travis Hunter, corner/wide receiver, out of Colorado. Okay, so Andy Dalton won't be a long-term answer, but a successor might be enough for Carolina to convince themselves that another veteran can bridge the gap in 2025 and buy Bryce Young more time. I mean, honestly, this might be, I think this is a hot take because I don't think a lot of people buy into it. And I think it's fair not to buy into it. I don't think the Panthers are done with Bryce Young. I honestly don't. But regardless, you grab Travis Hunter, who is like, man, the Panthers got a lot of receivers. You're drafting him to play corner. Let's see, does he have anything here? Travis Hunter can play corner or wide receiver at a high level, but the NFL values the receiver position more based on veteran salaries. Hunter will affect more plays on offense, so it's like, okay. I guess this depends on Deontay Johnson's contract. I don't know if he is done after this year. Obviously, you got Adam Thielen, but he's up there in years. Deontay Johnson contract, please. They did just draft Xavier Leggett. Love that dude. And to be fair, like Jalen Coker came out and looked relatively good. Yeah, he's only on a 1-year deal, so they don't have to even bring back Deontay. So yeah, actually, I'm kind of down for Travis Hunter receiver, while playing a little bit of corner for the Panthers. And to be fair, the Panthers probably should go for a corner because in defense in general, their defense is pants. Not great. Tennessee Titans take Jalen Milroe, quarterback out of Alabama. So you go from one high upside quarterback to the next. I get it. Will Levis make it out, going out. So like Will Levis, his play has been so wonky, and like he's had such catastrophic plays that has coined the term. Oh man, going out there pulling a Will Levis because they like bad plays. If he like negates those bad plays from his, if you negate those like bad plays from just the season, it's like okay. Still working on the guy, but you see a little bit of promise. But again, they're really bad plays, and he needs to quit making them. Then he gets banged up, hurts his shoulder, like slide. So I get wanting to move on from Will Levis. He's a second round pick. Granted, you traded up for. So it's not like the investment, not nearly as high as it would be for a first round quarterback, but it still, you moved up to get him. I don't know if you're out on him altogether, but again, it's not like Brian Callahan drafted this guy. I don't know if Milroe would be the fit though. For Callahan, maybe it would be definitely unique. Maybe Cam Ward would be a bit of a better fit. I don't know. That one's going to be interesting, but I get Titans fans if you're like, yeah, we probably should go quarterback. I'm not out on Will Levis yet because there's a lot of season left to play. Let's just say he's not trending in the right direction for me either. The Miami Dolphins go with Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan. I don't think the Dolphins are done with Tua. I don't think Tua's done with the Dolphins. Financially, they're not done with one another. So he will be back. So this leads me to believe this pick will be something else. Even if they're drafted in the top 10, I feel like, hey, Will Campbell's on the board. Give me Will Campbell. He could play both sides of the, not both sides of the football, but both sides of the offensive line. Give me Will Campbell. What are we doing here? I don't know. Like, give me offensive line help. The Dolphins are so bad at adding help along their offensive line. Like, they added Terrion Arnold or Armstead. That's great. I loved Armstead, but you knew he's gonna be a guy that just misses games. That's just what he does. But it's like when you hit on a guard, when you hit on offensive line help, and you don't retain that guy, like in Robert Hunt, you hit on him and you're like, yeah, no, we can't afford you. Dude, F the Dolphins, man. And I'm a Dolphins fan. Fins up. But Mason Graham is probably, I'll have him over both of the tackle prospects. So I think that's fair. I'm a big Mason Graham mark. He would add some chaos there to the middle of the defense. Everybody loves the NFL draft, and I know you want to be familiar with every potential prospect that your team may draft. So I got good news for you. My draft guide is available for purchase. It is good throughout the entire draft cycle, and it updates through the season regularly. You'll get my current evals and rankings on hundreds of different players with player backgrounds and analytics. It also contains combine and pro day numbers, as well as my notes from the Senior and Shrine Bowl. You can purchase it for a one-time payment of $30 on PayPal, Venmo, and now I have the Cash App. Follow the link in the description and be sure to include your email because it is a Google spreadsheet. That is how I share it with you. So please don't make me hunt down your email. Just don't do it. Anywho, it's a great purchase and it's a great way to support the channel. Pick 9, New York Jets take Luther Burden III out of Mizzou, wide receiver. Let's read this sucker. It's possible this is it for Aaron Rodgers, but until he's gone, the New York Jets must invest around him, with hopes the Jets would also hire a real offensive coordinator. Well, Aaron Rodgers is the offensive coordinator, who would maximize Garrett Wilson, and this selection of Luther Burden would legitimize, because that's a word, legitimize this unit as one of the best young surrounding casts in the NFL. I mean, I guess yes and no. Like, I get it. Okay, Mike Williams, you're probably gone for, like, he's gone after this year. Alan Lazard, I think there's probably an L. He's been with the team with 2 years. Is Aaron Rodgers, is A.A. Rod that invested in Alan Lazard? So you can make this work. Part of me feels like, okay, you bring Luther Burden, and that's just like a better version of Malachi Corley. That's my only kind of concern there. It's an interesting pick. All right, pick 10. Las Vegas Raiders go with Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami. Yeah, Raiders are probably drafting a quarterback, right? They're probably looking for a long-term answer. And honestly, it might be irrelevant where they're picking in the draft. It could be high, it could be low, but regardless, they're probably going to go with a QB to lead them into the future, because Derek Carr wasn't it. He's not been with the team for a minute, but Gardner Minshew, he's a bridge guy. Aiden O'Connell, I think he's a high-end backup, maybe a spot starter at best. But then again, man, maybe I'm just sleeping on O'Connell. But yeah, they're probably going to be looking for a quarterback. They're probably really sad that Dak re-signed with the Cowboys. Then again, it's not like Dak's been wonderful this season, but he's not been bad. Just been a little careless with the football. Suddenly he gets all this money. He's like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to sling the football everywhere. To be fair, a lot of his turnover-worthy plays came in that Ravens game where it was like, oh, yeah, we're down by like 20, 23, 26 points. So I'm going to have to sling the football a hell of a lot to get us back in this game. So that's good. That's gonna warrant some turnover-worthy plays because, well, you're having to make plays. Why am I talking about Dak? Let's keep moving. Pick 11. The Arizona Cardinals go with Isaiah Bond. What the hell are we doing here? Are we wide receiver drunk? Hitting on Marvin Harrison from this past draft class has paid off for the Arizona Cardinals. But more help is needed. Isaiah Bond brings 4.2 speed to the table, making him the perfect complement piece to Harrison and Trey McBride. Wow, just apparently screw you, Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson, it's not like you made plays last game. He did. But I guess that would be your wide receiving core there, though. Like those three with obviously Trey McBride. You got the Dortch there too. And this pick has to be defense. Come on, the defense sucks. The defense is pants. I don't care. They're feisty. They're plucky. Don't get me wrong. But you know the ceiling of talent is pretty low when it comes to that defense. So I don't care what position. Just bring in defense. All right, pick 12. Indianapolis Colts go with Malachi Stark, safety out of Georgia. Yeah, this is a one that's easy to chalk in. A lot of people are like, man, where do we fit in Malachi Starks? Where does he go? Where? To who? Who? Well, the Colts kind of make sense. Julian Blackmon's a free agent after the season. You got Nick Cross, who's been all right. You got Rodney Thomas, who's okay. So, yeah, this could be a latest spot for Stark. So, I get it. It makes sense. It's an easy one to chalk it up to. Pick 13, San Francisco 49ers go with Deion Walker, tackle out of Kentucky. He's a big, meaty boy, and you know he's going to be a really good run stuffer. At least he's going to eat a lot of space in the middle of that run defense or in the middle of that defensive line. And I honestly think like defensive line in general, whether it's an edge player or a defensive interior, makes a lot of sense for the San Francisco 49ers. In this case, they go with Walker. I get it, man. The way he's built, 6'6", 348 pounds, moves really well. Pass rush numbers aren't up like they were last year, but we know he's done it in the past. So he does give you a pass rush upside. Very flexible body. Like for his like quick feet, the way he moves, you can kind of move him around the defensive line. You can really have fun with him. All right, we got the New York Giants going with Quinn Ewers, quarterback out of Texas. I get it. You want to move off of Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes didn't have a bad day against the Seahawks and their second straight defensive line. But yeah, you want to move on from Daniel Jones. It's just like, Are you gonna be in position to draft one of the top quarterbacks? I don't know. It kind of depends how this class gets laid out. Quinn Ewers, I get a little worried that, okay, is he a bit of a glass cannon? He's missed games every year since becoming the starter. You go back to 2022, shoulder injury on, I think that one was the non-throwing shoulder, or maybe that was last year. Regardless, he had a shoulder injury in 2022. He had a shoulder injury in 2023 on the other shoulder. This year, abdominal injury. Again, not that serious, but still, you're like, okay, maybe you need to put on some mass and not get banged up, Mr. Ewers. But the play's been good from Quinn Ewers this year. Like, it warrants considering him in the first round. It really does. I think more so at the back end. Like, he's going to be in that top 50 for me, at least when my next batch of quarterback rankings comes out. But I get it with the Giants. I get it. Pick 15. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. Abdul Carter. Mr. Carter. So, yeah, I get it, man. Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff, they've kind of been, we just, like, Bryce Huff got the bag. And now he's like, yeah, maybe I was just a DPR guy. Which, I mean, that should be all right? Nolan Smith, good run defender at his size. Play him on early downs. Bring in Bryce Huff. The problem is, nobody's getting pressure unless you're like Sweat. You're getting no pressure from the edge. So I get the pick. I like the pick, man. Abdul Carter, he's really turned it on the last couple of games. And he's going to be vying for that edge one spot in this class. Got the New Orleans Saints go with Will Campbell. Wow. I mean, the way this board fell for the Saints, I feel like you may have sold your soul to the devil for Will Campbell to be available here. Listen, I know he hasn't had like in some of his bigger matchups, let's say the South Carolina one, his biggest matchup, I guess. It was a good back and forth. And I get it. Some people worry about the arm length. I think that's fair. But he's a guy that's worked both right tackle and left tackle. If you're confused, he played right tackle in high school, then moved to left tackle once he got to LSU. And I think he's going to be athletic enough to stick out at tackle. Like, I don't know if he'll be to like the same degree as guys like Penny Sewell or Rashawn Slater, but I think he'll be good enough to play on the outside. And I mean, honestly, that works great for the Saints. He ends up, he could be guard or he could be a tackle. It depends on how Trevor Penning plays the rest of the season. Trevor Penning's play has gone down since, well, Eric Armstead went down, unfortunately. Real quick, gotta give a shout out to Underdog Fantasy. If you sign up using promo code BROSHMO, then they will match your first deposit up to $250. It is the best place to play weekly best ball, or my favorite. Higher and lower on player stats. And they have great promos week in and week out. For instance, for Thursday night, they're giving you a gimme. Higher or lower. 1 yard for Brock Purdy. Or if you want to get in on the NHL season, they have a 31% profit boost. I love using Underdog Fantasy, and you will too. Sign up using promo code BROSHMO, and again, they'll match that first deposit up to $250. But as always, play responsibly and play within your means. Let's get back to the mock draft, baby. Chicago Bears, pick 17, go with Siobhan Revel, corner at a ECU. And listen, I love Revel. With the torn ACL, him probably not taking part in the offseason draft process. Probably drops him to day 2. Probably. That's just probably what's going to happen. Why in the world why do the Bears need a corner? There's no listed reason. Like, they have a pretty solid, like, you just paid Jalen Johnson. You've seen really good things from Tyreek Stevenson. Liked him, by the way. Do you, baby? Do you? And was it Kylan Gordon is playing good in the slot. I don't know what this pick's supposed to be. I don't know. I'm very confused. I'm glad they're highlighting him. Green Bay Packers pick 18. They go Derek Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon. I think the defensive line could use, I think it's more so the edge rushers aren't really getting adequate pressure consistently for the Packers. It's just been a little volatile. But added to the interior, listen, man, I like Harmon, but I like a lot of what Trevor Sikkema said in, I think it was last week in the NFL Stock Exchange with Connor Rogers. If you're not checking out the NFL Stock Exchange, I don't know what you're doing, man. They make great content. But he kind of echoed some of my same sentiments. I think I'm higher on Harmon than Trevor is. I see him as maybe a top 50, top 75 guy because you know what he is as a run defender, even if he came into the season a bit lighter. But that improvement as a pass rusher, I think, is substantial for him. I just don't think the Packers need interior. And if they do, you're looking for a super meaty boy, right? It's to maybe replace TJ Slaton or something. Pick 19, the Los Angeles Chargers select Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State. I don't even know what I'm gonna listen. This draft's gonna go a little bit longer because I don't even know what this draft is. This mock draft's so fascinating. I don't think the Chargers are gonna double dip at receiver. Not in the first round. They just got McConkey. And honestly, Quentin Johnston, he's having a much better year. He's looking better in year 2. But Emeka Egbuka, I still have questions if he's going to play on the outside a ton. I still think he's probably going to be play on the outside maybe 30 to 35%. If you even look at this year, he's been lining up in the slot on 77% of his receiving snaps. So it's yeah, he's still widely a slot player. Though I get it at his build. Oh man, he could probably play on the outside, but he hasn't seen a lot of reps against press. So it's well, I don't know, man. You got a guy that can work the slot about 60% of the time for you, 60, 65. So I don't know. You got McConkey though. He's doing that. I don't know. Fascinating pick. I'll just say that. Pittsburgh Steelers, they go with Ashton Jeanty, running back out of Boise State. You know what it was? Because people get mad that I don't take a running back for the Chargers. Just because I'm I feel like there's maybe more valuable needs on the squad. But to be fair, running backs the pendulum started to hit the other way on running backs. Running backs, they're coming back into popularity. I don't know if they're ever going to get paid like they once did, but they're coming back. But this makes sense. Najee Harris has gone after this year. This is a team that wants to run the football. It'd be nice if they could figure out the quarterback position. Justin Fields, we've seen some good, but we've seen some bad. We'll see. If you're the Steelers, I don't know why you're even considering starting Russell Wilson. Just go out, unless you've already made a decision on what Justin Fields is. Maybe. But Jeanty, man, watch out. He is the Heisman favorite currently, at least in betting markets. And to think, you could have got him at plus 1,000 a couple of weeks ago. All right, pick 21. Seattle Seahawks go with Colston Loveland. Come again? All right, let's read this. The Seahawks have the 11th best score in offense in the league, but why not add to it? Noah Fant hasn't been anything special throughout his career, so upgrading the position with a bigger threat makes sense. Colston Loveland is a good blocker and a terrific receiver in the mold of Brock Bowers. I'd reel back on that. He said in the mold of Brock Bowers, not a comparison to Brock Bowers. But I mean, this has got to be offensive line, right? I don't care if it's tackle or guard. Like, that offensive line is no bueno right now for the Seahawks. Denver Broncos, they go with Talik Williams, defensive interior at Ohio State. This one's pretty interesting. People are always asking, like, there'll be some mocks where I don't include Talik. Like, he's always at the back end of the first round if I do include him. Listen, guys, he's just not a great pass rusher. Typically on at the defensive interior, like, if you're not going to be a good pass rusher, you got to be something special, like as a run defender, and he is. He's a very good run defender. The problem is, like, he just hasn't really shown any pass rush ability throughout his career. Like, his pass rush win rate right now is sitting at 7.7%. Like, honestly, that might be the highest of his career. But only 5 pressures, 2 sacks. Like, even, like, go back, like Derek Brown. Like, he had traits. Like, and to be fair, like, Williams has traits too, but we at least saw him have a breakout year as a pass rusher when it came to Derek Brown at Auburn. And I for one, I wasn't sold on it. I wasn't sold on it out the gates. And unfortunately, he goes down this year, but he was coming off a breakout year where it was like, oh, man, this dude's a top 10 interior in the league. I don't know if Talik can be that, but he's definitely, for me, in that top 50 mold. I don't know why the Broncos need more interior. But, I mean, he'd be a good run stuffer. Okay. Dallas Cowboys, they go with Jack Sawyer, edge out of Ohio State. Jack Sawyer's actually been the most productive player along that defensive line for the Buckeyes. Currently, he's sitting there with a 19.3 pass rush win rate, 18 pressures, 3 sacks. Love to see it. Why are we going edge again? I mean, I guess you haven't re-signed Micah Parsons. You're probably looking for the heir apparent to DeMarcus Lawrence, who you're hoping is Marshawn Kneeland. You also get back Sam Williams next year, coming off the ACL. But I don't know. There's been some contention with Sam Williams in the building. So, like, I don't know. This feels like pick should be something else. Just my opinion. Again, a lot of this weighs on what they do with Micah Parsons. I can't imagine a team saying, well, we just don't have the money to sign you. Bye-bye, Micah Parsons. We're just going to let you walk out into the wild for free. That just makes no sense. Pick 24. Tampa Bay Buccaneers go with Mikael Williams. They need pass rush. Mikael Williams, very, how would you say, a very toolsy prospect. I already know the dude's a good run defender. This year, we were kind of hoping to see if he could put it all together from a pass rush standpoint, because last year he had like an 8% pass rush win rate. Thus far this year, it's 10%. Not that much better, but he has been slowed by a high ankle sprain. So maybe later in the year, we'll get to see if things start to click for him. But at the very least, you're taking a shot on a guy with really good tools. Buffalo Bills go with Danny Stutzman, linebacker out of Oklahoma. I love Danny Stutzman. He's kind of my guy in this class. He's got really good closing speed. I think he's got a real good knack, knows how to play the position, plays with the necessary physicality as well. I just don't think there's a first-round linebacker in this class. I just don't. But I do love the shout-out to Danny Stutzman. And to be fair for the Bills, like, Dorian Williams is starting to put it together. Like, he's been pretty good the last couple of games. Baltimore Ravens, they go Emory Jones, tackle/guard out of LSU. They're drafted him as a guard. That's kind of the problem with this class, like, for the tackle position. You look at a lot of these guys that are like, okay, sure, you play tackle at college, but I think you might be a better guard in the NFL. That's perfect for the Ravens. They could definitely use a guard. Daniel Faalele, Andrew Voorhees. They haven't shown you anything like crazy. To be fair, this is Voorhees' first like year. Remember, his rookie year was kind of a red shirt. He was just coming off, I think it was the ACL injury, the injury regardless. So this is kind of like his rookie year. And like Faalele, I think he's probably a better tackle than he is guard. He's like gargantuan. So, like, maybe he's just better. It sounds weird. Better out there in space, just kind of being a big mountain big mountain for guys to get around. maybe he ends up just being a backup. Maybe. I don't know. I like the Emory Jones pick. Pick 27. The Atlanta Falcons go with Princely Umamielen out of Ole Miss. A bendy pass rush specialist. I don't think he's that bendy. I think he's got a good first step. He's a good technician. I just don't think he's bendy. But I do agree with this. He has a pro-ready skill set and body. I don't know. Part of me thinks he looks light this year. Maybe it's just because he's freaking jacked. But I do like pass rush for Atlanta, and you should too. Someone try to tell me, oh, defense hasn't been bad. They've just given up the occasional big plays. And the linebacker core is not that good. And it's like, I don't think your pass rush is particularly good. Could be wrong. No, the pass rush is bad. I knew it. The pass rush is bad. My eyes didn't deceive me. Your highest pass rush win rate is Eddie Goldman, 13%. Then you got Arnold Ebiketie, at 11.7. Everyone else, their win rates are below 10%. That's not good. That's not good. You only have 2 people with 10 or more pressures, and Matt Judon and Grady Jarrett. Yeah, miss me with that nonsense. Your pass rush ain't good. You can't fool me. Your pass rush ain't good. I'm going to go back to that comment because it was commented in a mock, I think it was a mock draft. I don't know. I'm going to find you. And I'm going to give you the business. Respectfully. Detroit Lions, they go with Nick Scorton. Edge out of Texas A&M. This is a great pick. I love Scorton. I think he should go a little bit higher than this. I think he is just so well put together that even if he doesn't, even if he gives you more of that Edge 2 vibe, that's perfect for Aiden Hutchinson. It just is. And to be fair, Nick Scorton is kind of the build where it's like, ooh, not only is he going to give us like Marcus Davenport, at least what Davenport gave us in a couple of games this year, but he also gives us the John Kaminsky type of vibe, because I know Dan Campbell loves him Kaminsky. All right, we get pick 29. Washington Commanders go with Trey Harris. Oh, fascinating. Wide receiver out of Ole Miss. I don't think Trey Harris is a first round wide receiver. I like him on day 2 though. Like he's not an elite athlete, so kind of is what it is. But like his ability to just challenge the catch point, very strong hands, very strong after the catch. That plays better today too, in my opinion. Commanders can go wide receiver. They could probably use some extra guys out there. I wouldn't mind if they wanted to go with, say, I don't know, edge, corner. I think those are viable spots as well. Houston Texans, they go with Quinshon Judkins, running back out of Ohio State. All right. Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, you've had Joe Mixon. This is actually a good shout out. Considering the injury issues at the position and Joe Mixon's age, it would be smart to get that backup. Or that, not just backup, but heir apparent. But Joe Mixon's there for 3 years, or at least I don't know what the outs on his deal looks like. Maybe it's just another year. Maybe it's 2 years and then you could get out. But like Judkins, man, feel like you bring him in and you want him to be the workhorse. And honestly, that might play better to Joe Mixon. Being more so like coming in, give Joe Mixon his like 10 to 15 touches, while Judkins is going to be more of this like 20 touch guy. Maybe that plays a little bit better. Pick 31. Kansas City Chiefs go with Dante Corleone, defensive tackle out of Cincinnati. So I do think the stuff with the blood clots in his lungs, which I'm glad to see him back playing, I think that might disqualify him from the first round for a lot of teams. That'll be fascinated. But let's give this dude a shout out, who is playing the best football of his life. Because like this year, he's improved so much as a pass rusher on the down-to-down basis. He's got his pass rush win rate up to 15.8%. 17 pressures thus far this year. He's done that through 4 games. Like if you want to take a quick gander, that's already tied for the most pressures he's ever had in any given season. So sign me up, dude. Corleone. Again, I'm kind of concerned about the lung stuff, but this dude he's got a bowling ball build. He was already a very good run defender, good guy just to eat space. He's always been a guy that can push the pocket, but now he's showing some of that disruptiveness, man. And that was kind of the one thing that was really missing from his game. That where I was like, yeah, I'm a little out on him right now. I had him more as a day 2 player, more as a 3rd round player. Dropped him down to like the 5th round until things with the lungs kind of checked out. Now he's probably going to be in my top 50, but there will be that scare. Will he be in my top 50? I might keep him a 3rd rounder. Minnesota Vikings go with the corner, Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame. He's someone that wants to be physical, but currently at like 190. You kind of worry maybe he gets a little busted up by more physical wide receivers at the NFL level. Brian Flores, he's going to want his guys to play a lot of man. He's going to put these guys on an island. And I think Morrison's capable of that. He's a fine athlete and someone who's been very good around the football. He's able to locate and make plays on the football. But I feel like he's kind of better suited as an off-zone coverage corner. But that's just me. At this point, the value is too good to pass up on. But there's the mock draft, man. We took a long time today. But I think it was a good discussion, man, because this mock draft was definitely out of the ordinary. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. If you want more draft content, I got that all on the channel. Or hey, if you want to check out my power rankings, because they tend to piss people off, and I love pissing people off. What can I say? You can check out those as well. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.